What's going on? I am AnokhiTheOne, back with another video, and this is another episode. And as you can see, I am super duper comfortable. I mean, I'm chilling. I saw an ad, and I'm sure you can tell what I'm talking about from the title. This is what inspired this podcast. I was watching an ad on YouTube, and some of y'all may have seen it. It may be coming across this video at some point. Who knows? But it was this ad. I guess it was promoting some kind of therapy or something. And this man was sitting on the couch, and he's just like, I would like to have a job I don't hate. And then I always skip it because I don't have time. And I've watched it several times. And I know that, and it's also, today is a Monday, which I was born on a Monday, which is very interesting. I had, a revelation about that. But I was born on a Monday morning on April Fool's. Interesting. So when I watched it this time in particular, because I've seen it several times, and I'm like, why is this grown ass man needing to sit on a couch to tell somebody that he wants a job that he doesn't hate? Why doesn't he just get a job that he doesn't hate? What's the big deal? And I thought about it and I realized, like, majority, like the mask, that's what we're talking about. But the mass majority of people work jobs every single day that they hate. And I'm just like, why would you ever do that? Why would you ever waste your time working a job that you hate from jump? It don't take long to figure out if you hate a job or not. For years, that's wild. That's wild, right? And I have to remember that I had a major awakening at a young age when I was 19. My dad passed away when I was 19. And but before that, I was on a trajectory to just be a whole zombie. Like, I literally was just a whole zombie. Like, I was just moving through life being told everything what to do, like a zombie, right? When that happened, and the spiritual connotations of that really awakened me to think, like, to want to think about money, right? And one of the books the first thing that I realized, right? Because the big thing is, none of us know when we're going to go. Like, none of us know how much time we have on this earth, right? We really just be playing around with it. We think that we're invincible, but that's just obviously not the case. The only guarantee in this life is that we're all going to die at some point. That's the only thing that's guaranteed. That's wild. It seems dark, but it's the truth. That's crazy. Most people avoid living, trying not to die, and that's a part of life. Silly. But anyway, so that with that awakening, it made me think about how I'm using my time, right? And how I'm living how I'm spending my life. And it made time extremely valuable to me, because I really recognized, like, at any moment this could be over for me, right? I could be driving out, and this is what you start to think about when you they say there's like a gift of death, right? The angel of death, or whatever the case may be. This is one of the major lessons that you learn when somebody close to you passes away. Tomorrow is not promised. You could be like, there may be some of you that are watching this video that tomorrow y'all gonna be gone. I would never even know. Who knows? I could be gone tomorrow. None of us know. That's wild. So we literally waste away our entire lives doing just zombie activity. It's wild, right? And so, I titled this pretty much, your aesthetic is keeping you, is killing you, really, and keeping you broke. And when I say broke, doesn't necessarily have to do with finances. It could be, your heart, your mind, your soul. It's keeping you broke. It's keeping you below where you could be, right? And that doesn't mean you need to go quit your job and start a business. People always make that the solution. But for majority of the people who even say that, they didn't just quit their job one day and just start a business. Most people, when they start a business, they have to work a job, fund the business, or get funding, but it's a process. And that's the part that a lot of people don't talk about, which I think is stupid. So, but like I said in the very beginning, the simple solution is just quit the damn job and try some other jobs until you figure out a job that you at least enjoy. Right? And I thought about it, it's like, so why do people stay working jobs that they hate for years? And they know they hate it when they first start. One major thing is the aesthetic. The title. They like the title. They like the certain privileges that they get from these particular jobs, right? And sometimes it's the money, right? They want to live a certain kind of lifestyle, right? But if you think about living a certain kind of lifestyle, you're working 40 hours a week, usually, or more, 5 days a week, right? And when it comes to the aesthetic and the title, you're doing these things. So when when somebody asks you, what do? You can say, oh, I'm a insert title, right? But these damn people, that's what's wild to me, right? These people will never ever see you actually work. There's so many people that will work a job they hate for 20, 30 years. But now, millennials, we're different now. It'd be 3 to 5 years for us. But even then, to me, that's too much. 3 to 5 months is too much. Doing some stuff I hate, right? You're doing this, so when you go to the family reunion, or when you talk to your mama, or when you talk to this person, or when somebody is meeting you for the first time, you can say, but they don't have to go. It's just like what I've been saying. They're not in the gym. They're not having to run the business. They're not having to work the 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, having the stupid boss saying stupid stuff to you. Seeing people that aren't half as smart as you be promoted and be moved in all these high positions, and you staying in the same place and you hate it. And your only time to live your life is on the weekends. And then when you're on the weekends, you just want to get drunk so you can relax and so you can actually be free, but you don't even remember the shit. Then Sunday come, and then you pissed off at Monday. What's wrong with Monday? Monday did shit to you. You the one chose to continue this programming that you started in school, right? Because that's where it started. And I was thinking about this too. I was like, that be the ones that was making the best grades in school, knowing they hated school. The ones that be talking about, oh, I hate my job, or in therapy, I just wanna have a job that I don't hate. And some of y'all probably triggered right now. Some of y'all probably feel like I'm privileged or whatever the case may be. Who knows? People have said stuff like entitled or whatever. But I was working at Starbucks, and I owned my, to fund my business, right? To fund my life, right? But I love working at Starbucks. I didn't give a damn. Guitar Center, I feel like I was heaven on earth working at Guitar Center. Was I getting paid a lot? Hell no. Was it a nice special title to anybody that's not into music? Hell no. If I'm talking to a random person that's not into music or anything, I'm like, yeah, I work at Guitar Center. They're like, okay. But guess what? I'm working 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, doing something that I absolutely love, and it's contributing to my life. And this is a principle that Robert Kiyosaki breaks down in his book. And this is the stuff that I started reading when I was 19, when I started having this awakening. And I realized how important money and wealth creation was in the world, because I was over it at 19. I was overworking. I was done with this whole working concept. This stupid. I was done at work since I was 15. And I'm like, you know what? I'm 19. I'm like, I'm burnt out. I don't want to work no more. Which is probably wild to somebody that's like 50, 60, been working the same job for 40 years, right? But I was over it. I was like, this is dumb. Like, what am I doing this for? I'm still in the same spot. What is this about? Right? And then so I started reading books like Think and Grow Rich, and that just blew my whole mind cap when I first read it. A lot of people talk about that. If you have not read it, you should. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Okay? And then Rich Dad Poor Dad is another one of those. What are you waiting on? Blew my whole mind at 19, 20. Okay? And one of the first principles in the book is work to learn, not for money. Work to learn, not for money. Right? And I took that principle so seriously because and it combines into definiteness of purpose, what I keep talking about. Talking about like outwitting the devil, and this is also Think and Grow Rich, same author. Definiteness of purpose. This is another reason why the aesthetic is killing you and keeping you broke, right? If your whole life is built around an aesthetic, right? And like your Instagram aesthetic, like everybody wants to be famous on Instagram. Everybody wants to have this air that they're famous, they're rich and successful on social media. How the hell all of y'all rich and famous and successful? How? And got perfect bodies and everything. How is that possible? Why y'all playing with yourselves? Stop. It's tired, right? It's tired. But anyway, so you're trying to keep up this aesthetic, right? For people that majority, like 99%, will never ever meet you in real life. They're never going to meet you in real life. They're never going to be a part of your real life that you have to live, that you chose to live, so you can have a certain aesthetic, so you can say, oh yeah, this is what I do, but I hate it. You hate it? What? That's out of alignment. And this goes into everything that I've been saying, right? Like, and people want to talk about alpha, high value, and all this other stuff, and getting girls and different things like that. But without vision, the people perish. Okay. And this also goes into these pretend tactics of pretending like you have high value, getting a nice car you can't afford, getting the nice house you can't afford, or a place you can't afford, or pretending like you got a place, or pretending like you got the car. You know, you got on Toro and Airbnb playing games with people. Pretending like you got the money to fly girls out because you just got it like that, and then you get mad if they realize you really ain't got it like that, or they decide, you know what, I'm not trying to have sex with you. I just thought we were, you flew me out because, well, you act like you had it. Like, you say you had me. You say you got me. I don't have to worry about it. Right? And, you know, you're pretending to be this high value person who just wants to see how a relationship goes. Right? Not pay for sex. If you want to pay for sex, go get a prostitute. Okay? Right? All these pretend things, right? Pretending, fake. Aesthetic. Right? And then the games, and I talk about how a lot of these games that people play, right, it's pretending to be somebody who has vision ultimately, because having vision, having a clear purpose and a definite chief aim, a definiteness of purpose, that is what makes you attractive in general. It's what makes you attractive to business opportunities, jobs. It makes you attractive to women or the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever way you go. It makes you attractive as an artist. It makes you attractive in any way it goes. It makes you attractive. It's a part of the laws of the universe, right? It makes you attractive. It makes you a magnet to the things that you want. That's the law of attraction, right? Knowing what you want and focusing on that and moving towards that. But if your vision is an aesthetic, right? There's a difference between having a vision and having an aesthetic. You see, an aesthetic is like a picture, right? A picture is frozen. It's 2D. It's not even 3D. It's 2D, right? These videos, this is really, it's 2D, right? You're not seeing me 3D. This is 2D, right? I could chop this bad boy up, edit it, and this is what you see people on YouTube and online, whatever, edit out the part where, oh damn, you was working at Starbucks and you owned a business. What the hell? How'd that go? Cause it's real life. You was only making $6K in 2021, 2020, and now you make it six figures in 2022. How'd that go? Real life. It's real life. It's real. It's real. It's not an aesthetic. There's a difference when you see yourself writing a book about something versus an Instagram post. Instagram post, one-liner, boom. Doesn't have to have any depth, doesn't have to have any backstory, texture, context, nothing. So many people want to live their lives as Instagram posts, right? I'm going to do this just so I can have this moment so I can stunt, versus a vision and a purpose, something long-term, generational, right? And so when you're moving generationally, right, the things that you do today, right, the things that I was doing when I was 23, 24, 25, because everybody wants to be a millionaire at 12 now, right? A lot of the things that I did in my 20s seem out of order, doesn't make sense, doesn't look good aesthetically. Like I talk about working at Guitar Center. I loved working at, when I tell you I love working at Guitar Center, I learned so much working at Guitar Center, and it's preparing me for the business it prepared me for the business that I eventually created, right? Same thing. What I'm doing it's preparing me for my vision. It's steps in the vision. So with that vision, there wasn't as much money in it right away. So even the jobs that I would get to put me in that vision, it's not going to be high paying jobs. The vision that I'm focused on right now, right, in the direction I'm going right now, it puts me in position to be able to make a lot more money, right? But if I decide that I want to have a vision that is going to be less money, but more long-term or whatever, then that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go where I'm guided to go, right? But it just so happens that I'm being guided into abundance and thriving, right? Before, I still had the mindset that, in order to be an artist, that you have to struggle, you have to be broke, you have to earn your stripes and all this other crap, right? But that's when you're dealing with the industry, right? When you're dealing with aesthetics and different things like that, instead of having a vision and moving towards your individual vision, regardless of what is going on in the world, right? And so, what is it that you want? What is that? What is the job that you like? And I didn't forget even the job. What are the things that you actually like to do? What do you enjoy? Okay, how can you align yourself? But even aside from what do you enjoy, because that's one part, right? Like, before you can flesh out your whole vision, just do something. Spend your time doing something that you enjoy. Like, care more about how you feel every day. Care more about the now, the present moment. Like, on Monday, how do I want to feel? And people always make it seem like it has to be a business. It has to be this extraordinary thing that you got to listen to motivational videos 100 million times a day in order to get to. Bitch, it could be as simple as you're working in a stuffy cubicle right now. You can't stand it. You hate the environment and it's terrible, right? Versus you're in the gym all the time. You love working out, or you play basketball, whatever. Maybe you would have a lot more fun working in a gym, right? Working in a gym where you're already there all the time. This is what you do in your free time. So why not just work there and figure out how can I, is there a way I can make the same amount of money working in the gym? Simple. Or you're an artist and you're trying to be a 7th grade teacher, because that's what you went to school for. You love kids, or, whatever the case may be, but they get on your damn nerves. And it's a public school curriculum that you don't even align with, and you hate it. Okay. Is there some kind of art classes that I can teach? Is there, private schools? Is there like a charter school that I can work in? Is there, what are you good at, and what do you actually like to spend your time doing? Or what do you feel like is something that's worth your time, even if it's not the thing that you love the most in life, but it's tolerable and it'll move you towards a vision, or your vision, or help you to learn the skills that you need to learn for your vision, for what you want to do ultimately. But it always goes back to vision. Whenever I hear people talking about, oh, I hate this, that, third, I can't stand what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. That's the thought that I was, well, why are you doing that? Why are you with this person? What are you complaining? Why are you complaining? If the people you're working with is racist, why are you there? Why are you putting your energy? If you believe that the people that you're working with are racist, genuinely racist, right? Especially if it's management and, the powers that be, why are you giving your talents and skills and abilities to racist people that you complain about every weekend? And then be the main ones social justice warrioring on social media. How about you social justice warrior? Be a social justice warrior in real life and just stop working for racist people and go and find you some people that are not racist to work for or to work with. Oh, my industry, everybody in my industry. Okay, well, you got a couple choices. If everybody in your industry is racist, which, is rare, but sometimes it happens, then either you need to get into a different industry, figure out how you can do that, or look at your job. If you want to stay in this industry, okay, to me, that's when it's time to start thinking about ownership. That's when it's time to start thinking about ownership, to where these people can be racist as all hell, but if you're learning everything that you need to know to build your own business in this particular industry, and you love the industry, you love what you're doing, but it's just so happens that a lot of people are some kind of way, regardless, sexist, whatever it is, well, then learn as much as you can and then start your own business. And have something where you calling the shots and you hiring the people and you promoting people. At that point, that's what you do. You move forward. And that gives the day-to-day, when you have a clear vision, it always goes back to when you have a clear vision, when you have a 5-year plan, you have a 1-year plan, a 5-year plan, when you can go that, when I tell you that whole, like, it was a big chunk, it was like 5 solid years. I sat down at the beginning, I think it was like 2015 or something like that. Really, it was like 2013, 2014. And I just like thoroughly wrote down my definite chief aim and the different things I want to do each year for 5 years, right? That whole time, all those years, those very hard years, okay, when I would start to feel lost, which used to happen all the time because I'm creating a whole new path for myself that I've not seen anybody else do, right? I was getting lost all the time. I had my definite chief aim in my wallet. That bad boy had gotten tattered up, holes in it, all, but I would constantly go back to that definite chief aim and remember, okay, I would be able to look and see the things that I had done, in the time, and it will remind me, this is what I'm doing it for. If I'm veering off track, if it doesn't seem like it's going towards this direction, then what do I need to change to get me back in alignment? Or do I need to edit this definite chief aim? Whatever the case may be, right? But ultimately, I have when you have that vision, when I was talking about like 2D, forget 5D, not even 3D. When you have a vision, right, and you're creating your future, you're co-creating your future, these aesthetics, they don't apply, and people will judge the aesthetics that you have going on. They'll judge, what you're doing today, but they don't know where you're going to be in 5 years. Right? And those same people that was talking all this crap about you, people talk about it all the time. And this is why it's important to read biographies. Right? This is why it's important to watch documentaries on people's come up, the full story. But books are even better, because even the documentaries, they be 2 hours. You read a book, it's breaking down, I'm talking, the whole thing. And then you start to realize it's not so crazy that, you may have to work a regular 9-to-5 job while you're building a business. It's not so crazy that you have to do this, that, and the third. If you're doing something grassroots and you're building a brand, or whatever the case may be, or you're becoming an independent artist, or whatever the case may be, right? But with Instagram, if you're just looking at people after they blew up on Instagram, or you're seeing little quick YouTube interviews, then yeah, you're gonna be jacked up. Your mind gonna be jacked up, and you gonna be killing yourself. Okay, a zombie walking around looking at other people do what you wish you could do, which you could be doing some of the things if you truly want to do. But sometimes you may go down that path and realize, I don't even like this. What is this? They making it seem like this is that. It ain't even. I've had that experience several times. I don't even, what? Even the idea of, having assets, or whatever the case may be, having businesses running where you don't have to work at all. That crap is boring. When I tell you, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's boring. Not to say that it's much better, of course, than struggling and hustling to pay bills, like living paycheck to paycheck. Of course, it's way better, but at the same time, you're still gonna want to do something. If you got purpose in you, you're still gonna want to work in some kind of way. You're not just gonna want to travel your whole life, and you still want love. You still want to build family. For most people, you still want, purpose. You want to help a particular group, or whatever the case may be. You still have talents and skills and abilities that you want to focus on, right? And so, the solution to all your problems is not to just not work, which is what a lot of people make it seem, right? And then when people see, you constantly see ads of people like, oh yeah, I did this, and in 2 months I quit my job, and I've never looked back, and blah, 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 all this. You may be able to quit your job, you may do something, whatever, but ultimately you're going to want to work in some kind of way, in some kind of capacity. So the big thing ultimately is, what is your vision? Because once you have a clear vision, you'll be guided to the vehicles that are going to get you to that vision. Like, what is the world, what is the life that you want to have, that you want to create for yourself? And just focusing on that versus focusing on the pictures that you can take tomorrow if you do this. I mean, I'm talking, people be wasting so much money on jewelry, clothes, car. I mean, and because I have been learning those principles at such a young age, even when I talked about those broke years where I made $6,000, and I was riding the bus, there was a point while I was riding the bus where, I don't know if y'all seen my older content or been on my Instagram, and the bus driver was an asshole sometimes. Like, any of y'all who have rode the bus, y'all know. I had to really, in my gratitude, when I started getting in my gratitude, really focusing on the things that I'm grateful for, I had to stop and realize I have a bus. I own a 40-foot tour bus, right? I might be in a situation where, I'm riding the bus or whatever, my car broke down, whatever the case may be. But when I bought my bus, I had the choice between buying a bus and buying a Mercedes. It was like 23, right? I had cash to buy something. I could have bought a Mercedes at the time. I literally was looking at a particular Mercedes, and I chose between the Mercedes and the tour bus. And I chose the tour bus. That's an asset. That's a real asset. And so even, people look at me riding a bus. I own a bus bigger than the bus I was riding in. That's crazy, right? And so even though, you get on rough times, if you're not constantly only spending money on liabilities, which, for me, my advice is food. I'm a foodie. I'm just rambling, but for real, I'm working on my expenses right now because I spend so much money on eating out, and I live right, and that's where I had to start working out, because I went from, I got too happy. I went from not knowing where my food gonna come from, and then when I could get however much food I want, and we in Houston, Texas, and I'm close to I'm pretty much downtown. I'm in an area where culinary cuisine is just world renowned right around the corner. Everywhere I go, it's just good food. And I'm just like, what? Ever since I got my first job, I mean, I've always spent a lot of money on food. So when I'm talking to myself. But it's important, is what I'm saying, to not just spend money on aesthetics. You got to weigh out the assets versus the liabilities, right? Sometimes, you may have to save money. You may have to miss out on some things. You may not be able to take the picture that everybody else taking or whatever, be in the spot, whatever the case. But you may be saving up. The first thing I did when I started getting money again, right, was I bought land. That was the first thing I did. I barely was making, and I was guided to it. I was praying. I had been like them 2 years. I was like, okay, I see where things, I was leasing the building that I own my studio in before, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to have to deal with nobody closing the doors on me because no corona or whatever the hell else. Okay, if it's gonna close, it's gonna be because of me, right, on my land that I own. Okay, so I'm like, first thing let me own. Not only do I want to own the building, I want to own the building, the land, and the mineral rights around this piece, just in case I get to digging and some goddamn oil come busting through this. I want all of it. I want to own it all. I get to digging and find some damn gold. I don't want to have to play with y'all. I want the deed and the title under me. Okay, I'm trying to learn from my mistakes, right? So first, literally a couple months into starting to make money, I buy a piece of land. Okay, and so that land has already shot up in value. People literally every day are texting me or calling me trying to get me to sell the land, right? Even now today, from that asset, if I wanted to sell that land right now, I could get a good lump sum of money and buy something else if I want to. That's what you could do with an asset. Same thing with my bus. Like, there's been people that offer me good amounts of money, far more money than I ever spent to buy the thing in the first place, have offered me large amounts of money to buy my bus. Several, right? I'm not selling. But if I want to, that's what's beautiful about buying an asset. If you buy a $1,000 outfit, okay, okay, if you fall on hard times, can you sell that damn outfit? Can you sell it? No, you can't. And then what's crazy, like, I'm a big believer in how, the way you dress can allow you to get good opportunities and attract, money, and you should dress for success and dress for, what you want to create in the world, because, even while, like, just because somebody broke don't mean they ain't got the same clothes as when they was balling. The clothes be the same, right? You could be wearing the same clothes, right? But people be spending money on an exorbitant amount of money on clothes that ain't gonna make you no money. The type of clothes that's not gonna make you J's, these overpriced sneakers and tennis shoes, that shit ain't gonna make you no damn money. That's the type of stuff. This is the type of some of these outfits, Versace and all some of this shit. That's not gonna make you any money. As a man or a masculine or whatever, it's the suits. You can say, oh, European, whatever the hell. Okay, if I go to a black tailor, ain't shit European about it. How you like me now? Okay, so that's the kind of outfit that's gonna make you money. Yeah, invest in that. Invest in some nice shoes to dress nice to get on some interviews, or to get funding, or you see, that's where it becomes an asset, and it is a real asset. Okay, but think about what you're doing. A lot of the things that, like me, I consume content. If I want to switch that around, same thing, y'all. If y'all want to switch that around, now I consume content right now. I'm producing content. Now it's an asset. Now my thoughts are asset. Y'all be giving y'all damn thoughts away on comments all day long. All day long. And really what you're doing is you putting whatever content that you're commenting you're putting it in the algorithm because you're showing that it's getting great activity. You doing work. You really assistant. You doing hard work for whoever creating the content. Whoever's producing a product, right? And so when you're clear in your purpose, when you're clear on what you want, when you're clear on what you want to do, and the clearer you get on what you want to do, and the more you value your time and your life, because to me, when people talk like that, it just kind of not to say I'm judging, but in a way, you're not valuing your life like that. You're not valuing your time. You say, oh, I got to sacrifice for my children, and I got to do this, blah, 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 blah. The best thing you can do for your kids is do something you enjoy, because your kids, and that's how I'm getting into some other stuff. Because people be breaking their necks to get their aesthetics, right? Family aesthetics. The same thing. Get their kids all the little knick-knack, little. Your kid ain't gonna remember none of that shit. I thought about, like when Christmas came around and people talking about gifts for kids and all this other stuff. And I thought about me as a kid. I just thought about, like, what are the gifts that I remember? Do you just think about, like, do you really remember the Christmas gifts that you got when you were 12 years old? Just think about it. Specifically 12 years old. When you were 12 years old, do you remember all the Christmas gifts that you got? Oh, wait. No. You're not going to remember. Your kids are not going to remember any of that bullshit. They're not going to remember that. What they're going to remember is if you come home from work and you dang near about to cuss them out and getting overly mad at them for a little bit of nothing because your boss was cussing you out at work or talking to you stupid. All right. And now you're coming home and you want to take it out on your kids because they're easy target. Okay. Or, you're if you're a husband or whatever, your kids gonna remember if you come home and you cussing out your wife and ready to slap her across her head, really, because if you really think about it, you've been emasculated. Now you want to come home and talk about, oh, she's emasculating me. She doesn't cook food when I get home, even though she didn't been worked just as much as you have. Okay, she didn't work just as many hours as you have. Plus, she didn't pick the kids up, brought them home, made sure they was fed, and then you want to come home in a rage because you didn't been emasculated by your boss at a job that you hate, and the boss might be a woman. Why? I'm reading somebody fulfilled. I know one of y'all out here. Is burnt up mad at me for that. Because that was super specific. I know at least one of y'all up there burnt up mad. But hey, this is might be a hard pill to swallow. But it's time to make a change, you feel me? But anyway, you didn't been emasculated by your boss all day at work, and you had to hold your head down and pretend and shuck and jive. And then when you get home, you want to take it out on your wife and take it out on your children and slam the door and close yourself up in a room and listen to red pill listen to the red pill movement tell you that all your problems and issues is because your wife is not submitting to you. I know I'm reading somebody. Let me calm down. Somebody mad. Somebody gonna come in the comments tell me I'm a lesbian. I don't know why y'all do that all the time. I don't know why they do this to me. Like I'm the one in the closet. Y'all, just cause y'all in the closet don't mean I'm in the closet. I know where I'm at. I know where I stand. These fools get triggered and then want to out me when I'm out. But anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But going back to kids, that's what they can remember versus them remembering, and this is very important because like the way I grew up is very different than a lot of people I think. And so I have a different perspective that I don't hear talked about as much. So when, like, my mom worked all the time. My mom worked a lot. She worked hardcore because when my dad did get sick, and they worked as a team, I talk about this a lot, and people could feel however they want to feel about it, but ultimately, my mom was a Proverbs 31 woman. Very much so. I talked about this in a previous episode. Proverbs 31. When you have a virtuous woman, this is why this is a major asset. This is why I say the red pill movement. I think the red pill movement, I think, took the blue pill, is because when you're a masculine or you're a man and you have a virtuous woman, right? And she just wants your heart. She has your heart, and you know, she takes care of you. You take care of her. She praises you. You praise her, right? Y'all work together as a team, right? If you get sick, she's going to be there for you. She's going to take care. When you have a family that you've been devoted to, that you've been loyal to, that you've taken care of, you provided for, and you've put in the time, the hours. People can say whatever you want about my dad. Like, when there's times where I break down, you know, the story of, you know, how I grew up, and people, they just so want me to have a deadbeat dad so bad, right? They want me to have it. That's what's wild. And it be men. They want me to have a deadbeat dad so bad. They want me to tell them a story of how my dad wasn't there so bad that they just be trying to pull stuff out their ass, right? And so, but my dad was very much like, I'm talking, we were raised by both parents, okay? Raised. A lot of these people, you got to understand that when you're listening to certain people, they have certain blind spots because of what they did not have, and they want to project that on other people, right? So when my perspective is totally different because of to see how a real nuclear family actually works in modern times in real life, and I'm breaking it down and successfully worked out, because, you know, you can have all these hypotheticals, but life is not going to just, there's things that happen. People get sick. Men die early. A lot of men are dying very young. Okay. And so with my dad, you know, he had a hereditary disease. So he is really teaching, and this is how people did in, you know, Aboriginal indigenous times, where they weren't brainwashed in the idea that they're going to live forever. Right? They understood that there's an element of, when you're raising a family and when you're raising children, when you have, you know, a family that you want to take care of, a part of taking care of them is making sure they understand how to survive, right? That they can survive with or without you. You have so many men that are mad at women that don't need me. What she need me for? What she need me for? right? They don't want to teach their damn kids anything. They can't teach their kids anything because they want people to be bloodsuckers on them, but then want to complain that they're bloodsuckers. They want people to be codependent on them, but then complain that they're codependent. Okay? But to me, a good father is going to want to make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure that if something happens to them today or tomorrow, right? This is I was breaking this down to somebody, right? How, my dad was super involved, right? Helped us like as far as like discipline and even, certain things around the house and just teaching us the basics, right? When we're at a young age. And also knowing that he's not immortal. Like something could happen. And that something is happening, right? He's slowly but surely getting sicker and sicker, right? And so I broke this down, and this man, and it was one of these influencers or whatever. These people, they want to come, in my comments when I got to start having a conversation, and it's making too much sense. Then they want to come in my DMs. They don't want to talk about it publicly, right? Because they don't, you see. But anyway, he talking about, well, don't you think it's a little skewed, right? That your father is teaching. Don't you think it's a little traumatic that your father is teaching you these things, these principles of life, because he's dying? And I'm like, well, I don't think that's traumatic, because that's what everybody's parents should be teaching them, how to survive without them. To me, that's parenthood 101. That's what you're supposed to do as a parent. See, and then and so what the opposite, because what in their imaginary mind is that when you have a father or parents or whatever, and this is also a part of this consumerism. I definitely think this is a part of the Matrix, whatever, is where children are basically useless. They're useless consumers. Just like what I talked about a little earlier, where I talked about, like, do you remember what you got for Christmas when you're 12 years old? Hell no. You don't remember that, right? But children, although they are highly capable, highly intelligent, just think about how you was thinking and what was going through your mind when you was 12, 11. You weren't just stupid. You had consciousness. You had a mind, body, and soul. There was so much you could do. There's so much kids are doing now. Y'all are seeing, right? So much talent. So much you could be productive. You could be producing. You could be producing for your family. You could be helping around the house. You could be doing things, right? And so there's a mindset that what children need from their parents is just money. Like, oh, you need a 2-parent household, or you need this house, you need the father in the home because he needs to. It's all about, like, when they talk about child support, right? Where a lot of guys think that, all a child needs is the money and their responsibility. And then they want to fight against that. They want to fight against that when the money that most women get for majority. They want to point to Kanye West. They want to point to some huge billionaires as if any of them talking about it or in the comments is billionaires. Okay, none of y'all have it like that. None of y'all is about to pay that kind of child support. Just stop playing, right? But the little child support that be required for y'all to pay don't be nothing near what it actually costs to raise these types of consumer children that they programmed us to have. Literally just little bloodsuckers, little parasites when they should not be. Y'all probably like, well, what the heck are they? My grandpa, and this may sound strange. I'm sure it will sound strange because we're in the Matrix, but my grandparents, they were working in the farm as children. Okay, they were producing. They could go out and hunt when they were 7, 8 and bring back food. They can go in the garden and, plant, right? They could go and, some of y'all maybe trigger, pick cotton and make money for it. They could go and get shrimp. You know, my people from Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, they can go get shrimp, shuck shrimp. I think that's what they call it, shuck it or whatever, and make money. This is before they had child labor laws, right? And some of y'all are like, well, you don't want to be abusing children and blah, 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 and having them working. But at the same time, your children could be producing and creating, right, for the family. Like, and I thought about it, like, why are people having to get all these abortions and all this other stuff because they feel like they don't have enough money to take care of a child, when you had our great grandparents, and not even our great grandparents. My grandpa was born during the Great Depression, so you had in his grandparents, or his mother had about 6-7 kids. How was she able to have and take care of 6 and 7 kids during the Great Depression? How? Right? You mean, oh, they didn't have blah, 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 blah. Why? Because the kids were contributing to the household. The kids were able to cook 8, 9, 10. It's not that hard to figure out. And some of y'all think that's weird, but I was cooking at 8, 9, 10. It's not that hard, right? It took a lot more to survive a manual labor, and kids was doing a lot more at a younger age. And that's why a lot of our grandparents have always been far more independent than we are, and we have far more tools. Why? Because we have been raised, right, in this school system, in this pacifier system, right? We literally having a pacifier. We're put into daycare, and really these little cubicle jobs is another form of daycare. Just like in the beginning of the Matrix movie, he's in the little daycare. Oh, let's just keep him busy. Let's keep him busy for 20, 30 hours a day, 30 hours an hour, $30 an hour. I'm trying to get it out. But it's just babysitting, right? And so, when you combine all these things, I've been going off on a whole tangent, but it all goes into what I'm talking about, which is, you know, the aesthetic. These children they should not be overly expensive, right? And not to say you shouldn't give your kids, you know, different things, but you're spending all this money on things, but you're not even setting them up to have good opportunities. Like, the money you could be spending on little toys and little something like that, I think it'd be better spent on private classes on something, right? Private lessons, and not just on music, right? Music is good. I definitely think all children should be into some type of art, sports, and different things like that. But robotics, electronics, cartoons, you know, animations, creating video games, like, get them into, if they can work your iPad, your iPhone, if they can work the computer, if they can show you how to use your camera on the phone better than you know how to have them in photography classes at 7, 8 years old. Why not? If they can, why not? Why are they only the photographer when you want to take a picture? If you want to set your and I was one of those people, I started building skills at a very young age, just because to me, I just was going to be, I've always been a producer. Like, that's just what I am. But also, my mom had us working. And I thought about it. I had one of my favorite pictures of being a child was when I was in my mom's hair salon and I was sweeping, and I had this huge smile on my face. I had this huge smile on my face sweeping in her hair salon. I was working. I was pretty much working in a hair salon. I was like 6 or 7, and I loved it. I mean, you're giving me something to do, especially when you're dealing with children. You can always make stuff seem like it's awesome, and it is awesome. And I'm learning work ethic at a very young age. My mom had us answering the phones, setting appointments. We learning math with money. with real money. See, in school they teach you with little fake money. Nah, we learning mathematics with real money. We go into the store down the street to Sally's. She give us some money. We go into Sally's. We got to get this hair product. We got to get this. If I wanted to have a hair salon, I already know how to do it. I already know how to run it if I want to. Why? Because I've been taught. We learn how to wash hair. We fold in towels, washing the towels, drying the towels. Okay, we talking to customers. Okay. We setting up, closing, locking down. We seeing how to run credit cards, run the cash register. These are things that, you know, these are the things, even though, you know, as an adult, it took me a while to acknowledge all these lessons, but these are the gifts. Those are the things that I carry as an adult. All them little gifts and toys, where are they at? Where are they at? They gone. I don't have not one toy from any Christmas that I've ever had as a child. I don't have none of that shit. Do I have any of it? No, I don't have any of it. I don't care about any of it. All those clothes, all those shoes. Think about it. The children grow out the stuff in 2 days. They be growing out the stuff in 2 days. You didn't spend all this money on some stuff they're going to have for 2 days. So you can take a picture with it, whatever. Teach your damn kids how to make some clothes. Y'all probably think I'm wild as hell, but this is real. It's how you get, this is generational wealth. I talk to people, you know, in sales, and this is something that helps, you know, financially, right? And I'm like, you teach your kids this skill. I'm like, I imagine, you know, not only, and I'm good. I'm telling you, I'm good at what I do. Not only will this create generational wealth when you learn it, you know, just by the assets that you build and the money that you're making for yourself, but the education itself is an asset. Teaching your children how to do this thing that creates cash flow or whatever the case may be, that's an asset. Teaching your child how having work ethic, that's an asset, right? This is a major asset for me, especially in this world where nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to do anything for what they have. They want to get something for nothing. That's a huge asset. Having an entrepreneurship mindset, that's a major asset in itself. So, and I forgot how I even got here, but I got here from having a mindset, oh, I'm sacrificing. I'm doing this job I hate all this time because for my kids. Even though they have to, you have all this resentment for your kids because you feel like, you know, you're doing all this for them. In the same amount of time that you could be spending building a business or doing something you actually genuinely love, and you may have to cut back on some expenses or whatever the case may be to do it. But if you're a happier parent, if you're better, you're more involved, right? Or you can involve your children in what you're doing, right? They're going to be so much more happy. You're going to be happier. They're going to be happier. And this is the stuff that they're actually going to carry into adulthood. So don't use that excuse. Don't use that. Don't use that. Because my mom, she works so much. I don't want to be working all the time and miss out on time with my kids. People be talking all that. Knowing good and well, when they come home, they be exhausted, don't even want to look at their daggone kids. And if they do look at their kids, they get ready to cuss their kids out. And the kid ain't did nothing. The kid ain't did nothing to you. Okay? You just hate your job and somebody that made you mad, and now you're taking it on your kids, like I said again. Y'all talking about, oh, I don't want to, I'm doing this for my kids, even though all you want to do is escape, right? When you do have that free time, once you finish working that job that you hate, all you want to do is escape. You don't even want to spend time with your kid. You don't have the energy for your kid. You want to escape. You want to drink some wine, smoke some weed. You want to watch some Netflix. You want to get on social media and scroll for hours and hours and hours. And your kids still don't get you. They still don't have you, have your attention. Okay? And so, just don't use your kids as an excuse. It's not a viable excuse. Okay, that'd be the main one that people want to use when they have kids. Don't use that. Use your kids as motivation. That you want to show them. Same thing with relationship. Oh, I don't want to let this person go because I want them to know what it looks like to have, this person in the house. Da, da, da. Well, if y'all constantly cussing each other out, what's your it may be two people in the house, but you showing what it looks like. You're giving them an example of a toxic relationship. So what you're training them on, because it doesn't matter what you say to them, what you tell them. It matters what you do in front of them, which you're training them to do. And that's what you have to think about, how you live your life. How you live your life as a parent is what you're training your children to do, because it don't matter what you say. People learn by osmosis. So what you're training your children to believe is that you shouldn't stay in relationships because you genuinely love a person. You should just stay in there because of other reasons, right? Bondage, trauma, wounds. Okay, it doesn't, not being able to set boundaries, but the aesthetic. As long as the aesthetic works, then you should stay in that relationship. It doesn't matter how toxic and raggedy you feel inside, and how that person may even be treating your children, right? You should stay in that relationship regardless, right? That's what you're teaching. So don't use that excuse. Don't use this. Use that as motivation. Because I want my kids to have healthy relationships and understand healthy boundaries, I'm not going to allow myself to stay in this relationship and allow this person to be talking crazy to me in front of my kids or whatever the case may be, because what I'm showing them is their future. If I don't want this to be their future, then I need to let this person go. I need to let this go and find a healthy relationship. Find a healthy relationship to work. Because that's what my children are going to spend most of their time doing, is working. Okay? And if you say you don't want them to work, okay, well, create generational wealth so they don't have to work, or they don't have to work for other people. Because they're going to want to do some kind of work, right? So if I want them to do work that they love, they're passionate about, they're good at, they enjoy. If I want my kids to work, enjoy living 7 days a week, 365 a year, then that's what I got to work towards doing. I got to be the example. I can't just tell them, oh, you're going to do better than me. You're going to be better than me. I can't just tell them. You got to be about it. Use that as the motivation. All right. I didn't talk longer than I thought I was going to talk. My mouth is dry. I need to get me some water. But I think y'all get the point at this point. Don't live for the aesthetic. Okay? Live to create what you want in this life, because it's short. It can be short, it can be long, but none of us have that control to figure out what that is. Regardless of how good your diet is, it doesn't matter. You can have the best diet in the world and get hit by a bus. You can be so spiritually aligned and enlightened and get into a plane and that bad boy could crash. Okay, you cannot control these things. So that means you have to value the time that you have and the now as much as you can. All right? Like, subscribe, comment. I'm starting to look sleepy because I am sleepy because it's late. So if you about to go to sleep, I'm about to go to sleep. Like, subscribe, comment. I'll see y'all in the next video, and I'm out.